So the homie sent me some bullshit on Discord. And I'm only saying that because I know what I'm about to see is some bullshit. It's no like disrespect or hostility to the person who sent it to me, Adam. He just wants my opinion on the video he sent me, bro. I can tell by the video it's gonna piss me off. But let's do it. Let's do it. You know, toxic shit 101. But everything wrong with society 101, man. Let's get into it, bro. Night talk shit. Let's get it.
You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor. This is a case of Manser versus Sear.
Thank you, Jerome. Sure. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
Good day.
Mr. Manser, you claim you spent 5 years in prison for failing to pay child support for the defendant, Ms. Sear's son, Dylan.
Hold on, what did it say? You can spend 5 years in prison for not paying child support? I thought it was like you maybe the damn laws is different to state, but going to prison for 5 years for not paying child support is ridiculous. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. 5 years? God damn, you think he's a motherfucker? I was out here murdering somebody. Fuck.
Pay child support.
That's what I understand some aspects of the red pill shit, man. You gotta be real. Bruh, I don't even go there. I'm gonna save that for another fucking video. Let's go.
Support for the defendant, Ms. Sear's son, Dylan.
That's right.
And it was never proven that you are his biological father.
That's right.
Now, Ms. Sear, you say you have proof that Mr. Manser is Dylan's father. You argue you are here to prove again that he is the father of your son.
But if it's never been, she said again. Hold on, let me let this shit ride.
You say you have proof that Mr. Manser is Dylan's father. You argue you are here to prove again that he is the father of your son, to finally stop him running from his responsibility. Mr. Manser, explain to the court the circumstances surrounding your arrest.
Well, Your
She a
Honor,
hoe.
I'm here to explain that 12 hours of my life cost me 5 years in the Department of Corrections. She was a friend of my aunt.
12
We were
hours?
best friends with my aunt. We all lived in the
Sheesh.
same little community. She lived across the street. I knew of her. I knew her. I've spoken to her. But as far as intimacy, we was together one time. And I hate to be crude, but it was a one-night stand.
I don't care
he
what
meant 12 hours from like initially talking to her till when it ended. All right.
We was together one time. And I hate to be crude, but it was a one-night stand.
I don't care what your version was. I was far from a
Define the word
one-night
dating.
stand.
Living across the street from each other?
Far from a one-night
My wife's going to be
stand.
upset because
All
I live
right,
across
all
the
right.
street from...
That has nothing to do with nothing, man. She feel tight because he disrespected her. He made her feel like a hoe. But if you was a one-night stand, got knocked up, bitch, you was a hoe. Come on, man. Eat it. Just got to eat it.
Somebody, I'm not
Miss
dating
Sear,
them.
Oh, if I was your
Sear,
wife, I
all
wouldn't
right.
trust you for nothing.
I don't think after all of this that has transpired, it really matters whether it was a one-night stand
Facts.
or a
It does matter.
two-day trip.
My biggest
Facts.
concern.
The point is you all had a sexual relationship at
Right.
some point, so there is a possibility that he's the father of
Right.
your son,
Correct.
Dylan.
Possibility.
Okay.
I didn't...
That's what I'm stuck on. If it's a possibility that he's the father, it hasn't even proven yet, then how the fuck did somebody go to prison for something that wasn't even proved that he did? Like, usually motherfuckers get convicted of the crime that they were said to have committed, and they receive said consequence. But if it has not been proven that this motherfucker is my kid, then why the hell am I going to prison for it, bro? I don't know where this video is going. It's probably what it is. It's probably what it is. But just for paternity court in general, man, that should be just incorporated in paternity law in general. If a said father is potentially going to jail for not paying child support for a child, there needs to be a test provided to determine beyond a reasonable doubt that that child is the child of said father. Right? If it hasn't been proven that I'm the fucking father of this child, then why am I here? Prove that shit. Because you have the potential of having situations where motherfuckers are paying child support for kids that ain't theirs, man. And you can make the court pay for it and not even have. Anyway, I'm going too far. Another video. All right, let's go.
That he's the father of
Right.
your son,
Correct.
Dylan.
I'm getting pissed already.
Okay.
I didn't find out anything about the child until I was served with papers in 1995.
And so you showed up for court, and what
No,
happened?
I wasn't
No, he
able
didn't
to. I wasn't
show
able to show up for court. I was completely on the other side of the state. I was indigent. I
hoe.
was living at my mom's. Didn't have a job at the time, so I didn't show up for court. And I was named the natural father by default.
And then what happens?
And then I was charged criminally for not paying the child support that was ordered in the default judgment.
So how did you get arrested?
That came 3 years later after I still didn't pay child support, still unable to pay. I still had doubt. I've never, to this day, thank God for your show, or I'd never know for sure whether or not I was the natural father. Never.
If you would have showed up for court,
Or I'd never know for sure whether or not I was the natural father. Never.
if you would have showed up for court, you would have known.
I couldn't show up for court.
Why?
There's a
So
lot of people.
I got
question
there.
is-
Well, you live in the same town.
Well, I got there
Yeah,
just fine.
I'm sure you did.
See, this is fucked. 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 Like I don't even hold on. I don't even goddamn care about. Nah, I do care. This is fucked up. This is fucked up, buddy. This should be an example for all y'all to be having one night stands, busting walls down. Like it's fucked up, but once you bust a wall down, you are susceptible to whatever is going to happen, and you are susceptible to shit like this happening to you, because you never know who you fucking with. Never know who you fucking with. A one night stand, you don't know shit about that person besides your desire to get in them draws. That's it. That's it, man. And Shawty got knocked up. Shawty got knocked up. It sounds like Shawty got knocked up, but didn't talk to Buddy ever again after that. He go all about his day. And then what it was, 3 years later, he gets served with papers, bro. And but the system is fucked up, because you would think that but homeboy would be able to provide whatever testimony he has. It's like everything the mother of the child says goes. Just disregard anything that comes from the man. Old girl said, I'm pregnant and he's the father. Okay, he's the father, we'll come after him. And there was nothing in between to mitigate that. 3 years later, come on, man. If you haven't talked to the potential father in 3 years, then you probably I would think you probably a hoe. You probably a hoe. You know what I'm saying? Like you why else would the fuck that? What? That makes no sense. Why would some woman let that happen? You let 3 years go by without contacting the potential father of the child? She must have just like said, this the one I want to be the father, so y'all go after him. And y'all send this man to prison for 5 years for that shit? But it's a man's world. We in a patriarchy. You know what I'm saying? No, fuck that. Fuck that shit. This is bullshit, goddamn.
I got there.
Well, you live in the same town.
So I got there, because bitch, you lived there. This motherfucker wasn't nowhere to be found, because you just knocked him off. Or he just knocked you off.
I couldn't show up for court.
Why?
There's a lot of people.
I got there.
Well, you live in the same town.
Well, I got there
Yeah,
just fine.
I'm sure you
Fuck
did.
this
I wasn't
bitch,
busy
man.
running away from everybody.
Did you? That's right.
You didn't pay child support for about 8 years. Quit telling him it's 3 years. It was about 8 years.
The court order was 1995. I got arrested in 1998, so that's 3 years in my calculation.
Exactly.
12 years. And then I went to prison for 5 years. When I got out of prison in 2003, I paid child support from that day until just February of last year when I lost
Only
my job.
because they garnished your wages.
Absolutely, that's what they do. And I actually asked my public defender, where's the proof? I've yet to see proof that the child's mine.
Say, how is that allowed? How is that allowed? I'm gonna let it ride. How is that allowed? How is that allowed, though? You're gonna make me go to prison. You're gonna garnish my wages for a child that... Fuck what happened between them. Just someone reading this case. Old girl said she got pregnant. Old girl got pregnant, and then she's filing. I don't know what happened in between. Maybe it took 3 years maybe she found out, a couple of weeks later that she was pregnant, but it took 3 years to contact homie. I sincerely doubt that. But come on, man. Just from somebody outside looking in, don't it seem like the court is just working in the woman's favor in that regard? Like, make it make sense. If you hear the story, she gets knocked off. She gets knocked up, and then the potential father gets served papers or arrested 3 years later or whatever the fuck. Like, don't it seem like some shit going on in between there? I know I'm not getting everything. I'm not getting everything from the story, but it sounds like from her energy and from his energy that they didn't really talk a lot from the time he busted to the time he got arrested.
My public defender, where's the proof? I've yet to see proof that the child's mine. He said that they obtained my DNA through a sample that was already on file. That's what she's claimed
For a
this whole
daughter
time.
you didn't raise too.
Did you give your DNA?
That's right. I'm not here to win any Father of the Year awards, believe me.
You wouldn't get it.
But I'm here to say that, you know, in today's society, I think it's cruel and unusual punishment to be sentenced to 5 years in prison with rapists and murderers and child molesters.
Bars.
For missing a court date, because that's basically what happened. I missed a court date.
You missed being a father.
I didn't know he was mine. He had these so-called results, you know, for all this time. If she presented these results back in 1995, or better yet, in court when I was going to be sentenced to prison, things could have been a whole lot different. I know I would have embraced Dylan a lot more than I did, because to this day I still don't have proof.
Once you don't show up for court,
right,
Mr. Mansur, yeah.
I guarantee you there's
you
thousands.
understand that now, that in this country, you got to show up for court.
Well,
if you got to walk there,
you're right.
you need to be there.
Okay.
But fuck that. You got to show up for court. If you don't show up for court, you get charged for, what is it? It's a fucking charge for that, like missing your court date. But missing your court date does not mean you're the father of the child that they're trying to say that you're the father of. Fuck out of here. I don't want to hear that. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. All it goes to show is that the paternity system is fucked up.
Show up for court.
Well,
if you got to
fuck
walk
that.
there,
You're right.
Fuck
you
that.
need to be there.
Fuck that.
Okay.
And
Fuck
so
that.
you pled
So for every
guilty.
American boy out there that goes to Florida on spring break and hooks up with a girl, and the girl goes to Texas, and the boy goes back to Massachusetts, and there's a petition to show up.
Yes.
If he can't fly from Massachusetts to Texas, he's automatically the natural father.
He better find
Well,
a
there's
way.
gonna be a lot
and
of
listen,
people in-
Fuck
listen,
that.
listen.
Fuck that.
The
Fuck
pain
that.
that you've endured
Fuck
and what
that.
you've gone through.
She gonna eat all these words. Look at the hostility she got in talking to him, because she biased. She's already biased. She's on the fucking woman's side. I was probably biased on the man's side too. But no, it's coming together now. Like, everything he said made sense. Spring break, I do not have the money to come to fucking court. So by default, since I don't show up, that means I'm automatically the father. That makes no fucking sense. And she should be logical enough to fucking know that. But she's a woman, and she is, you know, feeling sorry for old girl for being put in that situation. No, fuck that. She gonna eat this crow, because I already know what's gonna happen. I already know what's gonna happen. That's why homeboy sent me this goddamn video. It's gonna be, the results gonna come, and he not gonna be the goddamn father, and she gonna have to eat all this bullshit she fucking saying.
In part because.
My stubbornness.
Thank you.
Yeah, my stubbornness.
And you are a living example of
Right.
that.
And it needs to be
So
known
now,
out
as
there.
you're being hauled off to court, you're still adamant, and you're saying, "I'm not the father of this
Facts.
child."
I'm saying I've never been
Facts.
proven to be the father of this child. I hadn't met him until he was like 15 years after I initiated contact
11.
for my son Chris. I wanted.
So wait.
But I
Now,
paid-
are
I
you
paid the ultimate
convinced he
price
is the
for that
father?
possibility.
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Because I have had a DNA test done, and I have the results right here. Would you like a
Wasn't I
copy of
supposed?
it?
Well, she's worked for lab pretty much for the last 20 years. Those was I'd
Hold on.
question the validity of the results. I mean, she'd get those anyway.
Hold on 1 second. Jerome, please hand me Miss Sears' evidence.
And it also shows the lab that
But I've got-
the
Your
seal was
Honor-
not tampered with. Therefore, I could not have tampered with the sample.
I never submitted a test. I got a hold of court clerks. They sent me I have a docket sheet here that pretty much details everything that's ever taken place in my file. There's nothing in there that shows any lab results. I mean, she had
All
a
right.
boyfriend at the time.
Yeah, where did she get the lab results from? That makes no sense. How you can confirm my DNA without having my DNA?
She had a Navajo Indian.
Jerome,
That was her
please
boyfriend.
hand me
It was-
Mr. Mansor's evidence
Just let it
as well.
ride, bro. Just let it ride. Just let it ride. Just let it
I have
ride.
evidence that there was never a DNA test. There's no DNA
There
testing in there.
was.
Before we continue to argue this, let me look at Ms. Sears' evidence that she included, because I want to understand the situation surrounding this previously collected sample.
Who's to say it was my sample? Maybe they got it mixed up with
But you said
John
you never
Smith
gave a
down the
sample, though.
street, you know? I mean,
Ms. Sear, your evidence clearly states that there was a laboratory test performed.
Yes, ma'am.
I see here.
I don't think it happened. I think she worked in the lab and that she's had this thing.
Just let it ride, bro. Just let it ride, bro.
This is
That's
what
upset.
movies are made of. Now, Miss
Yeah.
Sear,
That's what I'm saying.
I am good at my job, but
Miss
I'm not
Sear?
that good.
Well,
did you
who's to
work at
say?
a lab?
I
They
did.
never- I mean,
Actually,
she's-
at that time, I worked at a plasma center. I harvested plasma with 16-gauge needles. Had nothing to do with DNA.
I'm sure that, you know, when you're in a business,
Bro,
no
just
other
shut
people's
up.
What's
in the business.
interesting to me is that as I go through this evidence
I was
and
at school
I
at the
get
time, by the
to
way.
the information that is also included in the collection of the samples, I do see that for alleged father, it's entirely blank.
That's right.
Meaning
Imagine that.
there is no social security number.
That's right.
There is no address.
She forgot
there
to put
is
that
no
part in there.
information
Bro,
about
shut
you.
up.
It's all blank. There's no picture of you. There's no photograph.
She didn't have that information. That's right. Exactly.
So obviously, your contention that you didn't show up, you weren't there for this particular test is
You're
true.
right.
Because there's no evidence that you were there on that
That's exactly
day.
right. Thank
We've
you, Your
established
Honor.
that.
Thank you.
We do, however, see a lab record of a collection taken on May the 1st, 1995, which they claim was you.
Makes sense. They're not gonna admit fault in whatever bullshit that took place here. They got this faulty ass record that says he gave a fucking sample but don't provide any of. How you gonna get a whole sample from somebody but don't have the information to go with the fucking sample? You know, every time you go to the motherfucking doctor's office to get it to do whatever the fuck, they ask you your name, your number, your address, your social, all this, that, and the third. They had nothing from Buddy, but they happened to get a fucking sample. Come on, man. Come on, man.
May the 1st, 1995, which they claim was you.
The date of May when they put on there underneath the ascension number, that is when they pulled a sample
See-
out of the freezer.
Miss Sear, I see the laboratory
When did he get that
results
sample, though?
of the testing with a probability of paternity of
This is a bunch of bullshit.
99.67%.
Well, you're the
It's
So you know,
bullshit.
man, that he said 99.67 means he still might not be the father when he heard that number.
Now,
no,
listen,
you can't
Mr.
pretend.
Manser, let me say this to you. What I do believe that's missing in all of this evidence is
money.
I don't see any information relating to the
Said
collection
collection.
of the sample from Mr. Manser.
Right.
Nothing.
Explain
now, this
that.
court has administered new testing.
Which should have happened 5
and
fucking years
both
ago.
of you submitted to the test.
And it was.
True.
it
Is
was-
that correct?
And it was very thorough. There was
and
initially.
is that correct, Ms. Sear?
Yes.
It's gonna be
And
quite
we will
different than what she's
reveal
presented.
those results shortly.
You think our DNA changed in 20 years?
No, I think the chain of custody's changed. I think.
Okay.
Your Honor, wouldn't most women want to shove that piece of paper in my face? I've yet to see this piece of paper.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, I guarantee you, any woman in this courtroom would want to prove or erase any of my doubt, that's for sure.
You didn't even talk about doubt. There was never even an issue of doubt until my son
Wow.
turned 18 years
Why
old.
So
would
wait
I?
a minute, Miss
My
Sear,
check's
hold
being
on, hold
garnished.
on,
You blamed him
hold
for
on.
8
Let's get
years.
some order. Let's get some order. I want to understand this. Miss Sear, you're saying that he expressed no doubt to you
No.
as to whether or not Dylan was his son until he was around 18?
Not until Dylan turned 18.
Don't you think the fact that I have nothing to do with it would express doubt?
You even had nothing to do with 3 of your kids,
I don't
including
know.
the one
I got
sitting
one
there.
right here.
Not until he was 13.
I got one right now. Yeah,
Didn't
because
even
I was
meet
in
him till he was
prison for
13.
5 years.
Do the math.
Bitch.
That's not 13 years.
I'm not winning no awards. I'm here to tell you that I didn't submit a DNA test.
At least on my part, he made up for it.
So let's hear from your son. Please step up to the podium, Mr.
Ain't nothing to hear from
Please
nobody,
step up.
man. Get these fucking
You
results.
are Mr. Manser's son.
Yes.
Please tell us, has he been a father to you? And if so, has he been a good one?
Absolutely. He's been a great father to me. We've had our ups and downs, as a father-son relationship should be, but
We're best friends.
we really are.
We're best friends.
And Chris,
Man.
you've
Good the fucking results.
know,
at?
enjoyed your time.
Showed up at your doorstep. I feel like I have never, ever deserved disrespect. I was not the woman that showed up at your doorstep every 2 months. You're gonna be my baby's daddy. I have never disrespected you.
Cause you try, she was trying to figure out who the fucking baby pops was gonna be. She picked this motherfucker.
Let
have to,
you be and
prosecutor
live your
did.
life and live your selfish life you've lived for the last 20 years.
Stop clapping. Work.
Thank
Here we
you.
go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
These results were prepared
I
by
know what's gonna
DNA
happen.
Diagnostics. And because this is a very special case, and we've had previous DNA
My damn
testing
heart
done
pumping.
in which our plaintiff questions the chain of custody of the specimen, the actual sample that was collected.
Right. No, there's no doubt the results of this.
You filled out the proper forms.
That's right.
Including your names, date of birth,
As you
social
typically
security
do.
number.
That's right.
And you signed them, right?
Yep.
You presented photo IDs.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
there wasn't a friend of mine there either.
Not
That's
a
why
friend
these will be
there.
accurate.
The photographs were taken of each of you,
Man,
everyone
stop
involved.
milking this shit,
there
man.
was swabbing performed, and they were packaged in envelopes.
In front of us. In front of me.
They were properly labeled, signed by the collector, sealed with tape,
Right.
and sent to the lab for testing. Are we clear
Yes,
on
ma'am.
that procedure?
That's the correct
And you were
procedure.
comfortable
She's
with
so
that procedure.
confident. She's
The
so
lab-
confident. The confidence makes me think that she probably doesn't get busted off by that many dudes. It's either him or him. She's just taking a chance. Maybe it was just two dudes. You know what I'm saying? But like if you were around here getting busted off, getting knocked down, getting knocked off during spring break by multiple dudes that all busted down the walls, would you have this amount of confidence to go at this particular individual and be, to show yourself as this certain to come after him when probably the chances are he's probably not the father given how many people busted out them goddamn walls. But maybe she knew the paternity law was all fucked up. Maybe somebody told her, hey, all you gotta do is just say Buddy is a father, and they're not gonna help him at all. They're gonna do whatever you want them to do. Probably what the fuck happened.
Because of the sensitivity of this issue, ran 2 tests.
2 of them things.
The results are
Look at
as
her face.
follows.
He ain't the father. Commercial. They milking it.
In the case of Manser versus Sear, Mr. Manser,
You are not the fucking father. They milking it. Come on, man. Come on, man.
the lab, because of the sensitivity of this issue,
Ran 2
ran
tests.
2 tests. The results are as follows. In the case of Manser versus Sear, as it pertains to 20-year-old
20 years
Dylan
old now.
Sear.
Imagine the type of psychological damage that's gonna happen to him once he found out Buddy ain't his pops. His mama ain't shit.
Mr. Manser,
You are not the father.
you are
Not.
not his father.
Man.
Bitch.
Sorry, bro. This is why.
Bitch.
This is why
Bitch.
I did what I did.
But this is
Bitch.
nothing I made up. The lab did
You
it.
made it all
Fuck
up.
that.
No, I did not.
Fuck. It don't
those
matter. It
results-
don't matter what the fuck was made up. Bitch, you goddamn lied. Goddamn. Fuck out of here.
It's
I
apparently
don't know
made
any
up.
of those people on that form.
Oh my God.
This
She knew
is
it.
clearly the
She
most
still ain't being accountable.
shocking
She still ain't being
news
accountable. Fucking hoe.
we've ever gotten in this courtroom.
Oh my God. She should be convicted of some crime.
I
Facts.
should not. I did
Mr.
not.
Facts.
Fraud.
Manser, Mr.
Facts.
Manser,
That is
I
fraud.
know you're upset.
She knew it. She
I know
knew it.
it's overwhelming. I need a moment with Dylan because I want to make sure he understands.
Man, whatever. She gonna say, I know you're overwhelmed. Fucking right. He has every fucking right to be overwhelmed and say whatever the fuck he wanna goddamn say, cause this fucking hoe sent his ass to prison for 5 years over a damn kid she knew that wasn't his. And then y'all gonna just run with this shit and just let her do whatever she wanna do willy-nilly and just don't protect the goddamn man out here and fuck, man. I knew it was gonna happen though. I knew it was gonna happen. I'm still irritated though, man. Fuck it, I'm out. Give me more videos though. More videos, but I'm out.